Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man your man could smell it.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
What does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
It's a great day to be alive. It's a great day to be kicking it with you all on a Friday evening here on Theoretically Speaking. It's your boy, Theo Dorsey. We got C-Cat, the curator of vibes on the ones and twos, and we're talking pressure cooker. We're talking pressure here today because in the National Football League, no better topic than to talk about the quarterbacks, the gunslingers, the signal callers, and no better way to discuss them, of course, than to talk about the pressure they're facing, especially coming off of the latest guy to sign his deal, Trevor Lawrence, who finally spoke to the media yesterday. Trevor Lawrence feeling good. He's $200 million richer, guaranteed that is, and he's coming off of getting the biggest contract in Jacksonville Jaguars franchise history. He is the guy that they told us was going to be the next one, the Andrew Luck, the Peyton Manning. There were so many comps coming out of Clemson 3 years in. We haven't seen that, but we have seen a major payday and one that other quarterbacks across the National Football League could be jealous of. But with money typically comes pressure. With money and expectations comes a certain level of I need to produce. I need to show people why I have earned this, why this team should still continue to build around me, why I should be the fulcrum of a franchise. That's what the Jaguars told us when they made him the richest player in Jaguars history. But then I do see the article that came out, and since Trevor Lawrence has talked, the main talking point for the former Clemson quarterback is, I'm good. There is no pressure. There's no added pressure this offseason that comes with the big payday because he feels fortified in where he is. I'm happy for him, but it got me thinking there are some other quarterbacks, Jordan Love, Dak Prescott, Tua Tagovailoa, maybe even Brock Purdy, who haven't got their major payday, who do still have something to prove their worth in the National Football League, to prove their value to their franchises, to their team. And so who is that quarterback going into 2024 that has the most added pressure from this offseason? Who has the most to prove come this fall when we kick things off finally, which it feels like, again, though the NFL never stops, and we're now in that somewhat of a dead period. I don't feel like we'll hear too many more contract signs. I don't feel like there's going to be too much more movement for a while here. C-Cat, I'm still waiting on Justin Simmons to get signed. Martin County product and former Denver Broncos safety Justin Simmons to find a home. Like, that's the most shocking part of this NFL offseason to me. Is there anything that you kind of are waiting on when it comes to NFL news right now?
I guess the possibility of a bombshell Dak signing, but maybe that would be something to talk about, but it didn't. No indications of it's coming now.
And that's the thing. The Dallas Cowboys have shown a certain level of trepidation to chain themselves to Dak Prescott. I don't know if it's because Jerry Jones wants to remain in the spotlight and have us talk about the Cowboys every other day because that's how they've remained relevant. Because the past 3 decades, it's not like it's been success that have kept them in the public light. But when it comes to pressure, Dak Prescott could be one of the quarterbacks that is added to that list. He could be one of the guys that you say needs to prove himself. But to me, especially given the state of the quarterback market right now, Jared Goff is locked up into a long-term extension with the Detroit Lions. He's good to go. Plus, he's coming off a year when he was in the NFC Championship game. Brock Purdy is fresh off a Super Bowl appearance. I know we don't give the guy the credit he likely deserves for what he means to that offense, what he means to Kyle Shanahan, and how he gets things going out there in the Bay. But he has a payday coming up, likely in January is when he becomes eligible for a contract extension. I think it's clear and cut right now, especially given the fact that we've heard from Cameron Wolf of NFL Network, from Marcel Louis-Jacques of ESPN, who covers the Dolphins as well, that Tua Tagovailoa's payday is coming. It was supposed to have happened by now. I remember last time we talked to Cameron Wolf a couple of weeks ago, C-Cat, I believe he said it was going to happen when the clock turned June. It's June 21st. Nothing has happened. Nothing has shaked on the Dolphins' frontier, and that's why, to me, with Trevor Lawrence paid, with Jared Goff paid, with a lot of quarterbacks feeling some sense of comfortability, It is the Miami Dolphins Hawaiian quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, who has to feel like he has the most pressure going into 2024. And the main reason is, who has had to prove themselves at more junctures in their football career than Tua, the lefty with the Dolphins? I mean, he's been doing this since Alabama, right? He's been doing this since when he was actually a guy that jumped in for Jalen Hurts, but then there was a lot of discourse as to whether or not he should be the starter that next year. Of course, he won that out, and then Jalen Hurts comes back. I was actually at that SEC championship game where Jalen Hurts comes in for a hobbled Tua Tagovailoa and wins that game for them, and then the discourse starts all over again, questioned at every turn. Then he gets to the National Football League, and the questions around Tua is, can he stay healthy, right? The question is he a guy that propels an offense forward, or is he benefiting from a good system with Mike McDaniel? You have to prove to us, Tua, that you can play 17 games. You have to prove to us, Tua, that you can elevate an offense and create scoring opportunities and not just dump the ball off to a guy and let him run 40 yards for a touchdown. Well, he did that. Last year, Tua Tagovailoa led the league in passing yards. The year before that, he led the league in passer rating. He just played a full season healthily. Now, people point to, with Tua, the fact that the Dolphins are 6-14 against playoff teams in his tenure with Mike McDaniel. People point to, with Tua, the fact that just 2 years ago, he was considering retiring from the National Football League because of the concussion issues and whatnot. All of that is in his rear view. He still has to prove himself to be a winner, though, and he still is currently on the fifth-year option for the Miami Dolphins. Unequivocally, in 2024, Tua Tagovailoa is the quarterback with the most pressure to perform, and it's mainly because, number one, the Dolphins have been hesitant. They have yet to sign him to that long-term contract number, and I'm sure the Lawrence deal and the Goff deal is what are making those waters more murky now, because that's now the starting point for a guy like Tua, who has put up better numbers than those guys. But then also, the pressure for Tua is it feels more elongated than any other quarterback in the National Football League, but because he's going to have to put up the numbers during the regular season, and he will be judged by how well the Dolphins' offense clicks during the regular season. Waddle got paid. Tyreek is under a massive deal right now. Mike McDaniel has already been lifted up as one of the great offensive minds in the NFL. He's not going to take the blame. If anything goes wrong with the Dolphins on the offensive side of the ball this year, the fingers will be pointing at Tua. But it's not enough to be good in November. It's not enough even to be good in December. If the Dolphins don't break the longest active professional streak of not winning a playoff game in all of sports, it's not NFL, it's not just NBA. In all of the major four sports, the Dolphins have been 24 years without winning a playoff game. If Tua Tagovailoa cannot deliver that, and the Dolphins have him playing on that fifth-year option, his future in the league is going to be beyond uncertain. Because if the Dolphins, who have him in-house and have literally seen this guy, worked with this guy, he's now shed some pounds, shed some weight so he could be a little bit more fluid this year. Remember, last year he put pounds on so he can remain healthy. He's doing everything he can to prove his worth to this Dolphins franchise. If they put him out there on the fifth-year option and this team does not break that playoff win drought, do you even see a future home for Tua Tagovailoa? What franchise is going to commit long-term to a guy when the Dolphins and Miami Gardens have been reluctant to do so far? Now, I, for one, do think they should pay Tua Tagovailoa, but until he does get paid, he is currently the quarterback in the NFL with the most amount of pressure on them. Tweet at us at ESPN West Palm or at Theo Dorsey TV. Which quarterback in the NFL, based off of what you've seen happen this offseason, rolling into the fall, has the most pressure going on them to perform in 2024? Pressure bursts pipes. It also makes diamonds.
Waiting a long time to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad. It's good. It also makes diamond or ice. Which quarterback in the NFL, to you, has the most pressure going on them right now? C-Cat? It's got to be Tua Tagovailoa, right? Who else do you feel like in the NFL has to show you something in 2024 or you're out on them? You're just all the way out.
It's tough because in the AFC, we have a titan of the game right now with Patrick Mahomes. We are in the Patrick Mahomes era of the NFL, just as we were in the Patriots era of the NFL just a couple of decades ago.
Are you about to say Patrick Mahomes has the most pressure because he's got to get that three-peat?
No, okay. I'm not going to say that. What I'm saying, I said that to say this. Anyone in the AFC, if they fall short of winning the conference, who can blame them? Like, we're not really expecting anyone other than the Chiefs to come out of the AFC for the foreseeable future. So it has to be a quarterback who's in the NFC. It has to be a quarterback who is far into their career. They've had many, many chances and have fallen short of those expectations time and time again. I brought him up 15 minutes ago, and I'll bring him up again. It's got to be Dak Prescott.
Wow.
You are in the most scrutinized football market in the country, in the league, in Dallas. You have the most scrutinizing owner in the NFL with Jerry Jones, and you haven't gotten that contract yet. It's got to be Dak Prescott because one of these days, the Cowboys got to show up in an NFC championship game. They're seeing the success across the division with the Eagles making it to the Super Bowl. It's time in Jerry world that you need to see Dak lead that team there.
That's actually it's a great point. It's a great point. The only problem with that is Dak Prescott has so much leverage right now. Like, Dak Prescott, because the Cowboys didn't commit to him earlier, I can see him being a guy that demands $60+ million a year next offseason if the Dallas Cowboys aren't forced to pay him that now. It's hard for me to say a guy has pressure on him when he already kind of feels like he has his future secured with a franchise.
I guess, but when you're a quarterback in the NFL, outside of the other positions, you're kind of taken care of financially. It's all about winning now.
Legacy.
It's like ring culture we talk about in the NBA. It is ring culture for quarterbacks in the NFL, and Dak is feeling that pressure because it's not about rings. It's not showing up in the big game. It's showing up in the big game before the big game, and he hasn't done it yet.
Right. He hasn't done it yet, and when he does sign that big contract, it's only going to get harder for him. It's only going to get increasingly tough in a salary cap sport like the National Football League is, and that makes me think. Because for our off-season football report for Baptist Health Orthopedic Care, I got to go to a quote from Trevor Lawrence from yesterday, who sparked this whole conversation about which quarterback in the NFL has the most pressure on them. He feels alleviated of that pressure. He feels good. And part of that is Trevor Lawrence is trying to play a little bit of PR right here. Trevor Lawrence, here he is yesterday in his presser talking to the media after signing his richest deal in Jaguars history, third richest in the NFL right now. Here he is, I think, playing a little bit of PR because he realizes he did not reset that quarterback market like he thought he would.
Obviously, there was a certain amount that as a player, you want to make and you want to be in the market value, all of those things, but you also want to keep the team in a good position to where we can, pay other guys and have players around me and do all those things and from a salary cap perspective, and I don't know how all that works, but just felt like my agent and Trent and the whole front office did a good job of kind of maneuvering all those things where it felt like we all won in the end, and it puts us in a position to where we can still have a lot of talent here, we can bring guys in, or we can keep the guys that we have. That was something that was important to me because it wasn't worth it to me to sacrifice, being able to have a good team just so I can make some money.
I don't believe you for 1 minute, Trevor Lawrence. You didn't demand a major deal, a market resetting deal from the Jacksonville Jaguars. You haven't done anything in your 3 seasons as a starting quarterback for the Jaguars to prove that out. You were the promised prince. You were the next great one, and you have underwhelmed and underachieved so far. Did you deserve the contract? Yes. Did you deserve some security? Yes. You didn't deserve the mega deal, and that's why you didn't reset the quarterback market. Not like you're trying to be Tom Brady and set the Jacksonville Jaguars up for a successful future. The Jaguars don't even know success. You know who does know success? Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. I mean, are you experiencing foot and ankle pain and need to see an expert in the field? Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has a team of foot and ankle orthopedic surgeons and specialists who are regarded as leaders in their specialty. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho to learn more today. Easy for me to say. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care combines its resources of experienced physicians and leading-edge treatments and technology to provide advanced orthopedic, foot and ankle, joint replacement, spine, and sports medicine care. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho for more information today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has offices conveniently located in Palm Beach County through the Florida Keys. Learn more by visiting baptisthealth.net/ortho. Yeah, Yeah, like I didn't want more money. I was trying to do it for the good of the team. I want other guys to get paid. That's like the Heat saying, well, we didn't want to beat the Boston Celtics in the first round. We want to see them get a ring. Want to see them have fun. Not likely. But coming up, we're going to talk to a Boston Celtics reporter talking about those moments in the locker room following the championship and see who he thinks specifically is the key reason why the Celtics won the title. Was it the Finals MVP or was it Jason Tatum? We learn next. C-Cat and Theo Dorsey is Theoretically Speaking on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.